With that being said, folks, I hope you're settled in here. I hope you got your coffee, your food, whatever it is you eat or drink. And let's jump right into the news today regarding the whole Russia-Ukraine debacle. And the story here that we're going to cover, honestly, it's actually a really terrible story. It's basically an assassination attempt gone wrong here. So what it says here is we have Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy coming out and warning that Russia may ramp up its aggression this week following an attack on the family of a close ally of Russian Vladimir Putin. Zelenskyy made the warning Saturday, adding that Russian forces may try something particularly nasty this week due to Ukraine celebrating its Independence Day on Wednesday. The warning also comes after the daughter of a top Putin ally was killed in a car bombing near Moscow on Saturday night local time. The daughter of pro-Putin political philosopher was killed while leaving a music and culture festival when her SUV just exploded. Her father was among those who urged Putin to move forward with an invasion of Ukraine, and authorities are saying that the bomb was intended for him rather than his daughter. He was attending the festival, was not in the vehicle when the bomb detonated. This is a tragic and terrible story because the daughter probably had nothing to do with this man's thinking and him pushing this whole Russian-Ukraine invasion on Putin and kind of advancing that whole thought and putting certain things maybe in Putin's mind, who only knows. And I don't know this man well enough. I don't know if he's kind of one of those mobster type guys that's into killing journalists and doing some weird and shady stuff. I have no idea. But because of his decisions and the things and the people that he's involved with, his daughter's now dead, which is a terrible, terrible thing. And it just shows you, quite frankly, just how dark things still are in our world, and really shows you as well how things can go wrong very quickly. What's also interesting here is the way that Zelenskyy decided to word things, and I'll get into that right now. Quote, we should be aware that this week Russia may try to do something particularly nasty, something particularly cruel, such as our enemy, but in any other week during these 6 months, Russia did the same thing all the time, disgusting and cruel. Now that's where I find things a little bit interesting, is that last sentence there, is that Russia did the same thing all the time, disgusting and cruel. It's kind of coming across of, well, because they were doing it the last 6 months, they were doing shady stuff that was disgusting and cruel, it's okay for us to do it as well. Now, did he come out and say that it was them? No, not that I'm aware of. Maybe some of you might have some other news that I don't. So it almost seems like he's implying that they did it without actually saying, oh, it was us, we did it. And also just kind of making that warning of, well, because it may or may not have been us, Putin's still going to think it was us. Which is fair enough. I mean, they're the ones that are battling against Russia at this present time, but what just a terrible assassination attempt of what it seems like gone wrong. Quote, one of the key tasks of the enemy is to humiliate us, Ukrainians, to devalue our capabilities, our heroes, to spread despair, fear, to spread conflicts. Therefore, it is important never for a single moment to give in to this enemy pressure, not to wind up oneself, not to show weakness. Zelenskyy addressed concerns that Russia may destroy the Ukrainian nuclear plant, which is the first seized in the opening weeks of the invasion. And I think there was some damage already done to it, or Russia was kind of targeting it in some way, shape, or form. And I could see Vladimir doing this. I don't know, again, how close he was to this guy. If he's super close, if it's like a brother, then you just piss the guy off because you messed up big time. Who's going to see or know what the fallout's going to be? We'll have to wait. But terrible story, kind of sad. And also on top of that, has anybody been keeping track of how much money we've been freaking sending to Ukraine? Not just money, but just assets in general, military grade equipment. I mean, I want to say it's at least the very bottom number is $40 billion. That's the bottom number. I don't even know. I haven't aggregated just all the money and assets in total, how much we've sent them. If any of you know, can we please, for the love of God, put in the comments below? Because we are sending ungodly amounts of weaponry and money, and Lord only knows what else, to Ukraine. It's crazy. I'm curious on who did this assassination attempt. I'm calling it an assassination attempt. I'm not saying it is, but cars just don't usually blow up by themselves, folks. So something went wrong here. The UN sounded alarm about such an attack last week, and some analysts have said destroying the facility would be a Chernobyl on steroids. I mean, what a devastating thing that would be if Russia did go ahead and attack that nuclear facility. And I don't even know if that would be considered a war crime doing something like that. I mean, you're opening up a whole can of worms, which makes me think that's why maybe Putin himself hasn't given the authorization to do such a thing. Lord only knows, but just a tragic, tragic story here this morning regarding what's going on with that man's daughter. If he is a scumbag, folks, still, if his daughter's a good kid, right? She might not know what this guy's done. She doesn't deserve to die. It's a kid, or at least even a teenager, even a young adult. So that's what's taking place there. We also have in other news here. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.